potential survivors, Ghostfake here, and I'm here to talk to you about a perfectly harmless, yet sometimes fatal affliction called subscriber's guilt. This unbelievably dangerous disease occurs when YouTube recommends a video that you may like, and based off the one video, you subscribe to that channel, only to find out that every other video on that channel is complete trash. Well, I'm here to tell you that at Survivor's Guilt, you don't have to worry about that, because every video is trash. Here at Survivor's Guilt, we determine your chances of surviving your favorite and not favorite horror movies, using our patented survival stat technology based loosely in science. We calculate your exact odds of surviving through these movies. Did I say exact? I meant exaggerated and biased. We do this by taking a look at our main characters and the death that surrounds them to determine your chances of suffering survivor's guilt. So don't afflict yourself with subscriber's guilt, try survivor's guilt, and prepare to be disappointed.
We're going to go over this one time and one time only.
Hey everybody, have you heard the news? Joe Bob is back in town. Joe Bob is back in town. Joe Bob is back in town.
Hey everybody, it's CJ Graham, Jason Voorhees. That's right, Friday the 13th, Part 6. And you're listening to thescenesnobs.com. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Well, I'm welcome back. I was on vacation the past week and a half, and I missed you guys so much. It is a big night for me. This is my show, The Showcase. It was on Fridays. Now it's on Mondays. Who knows where we'll be in the third season. But the season 2 premiere is here. And I am so happy to be back with all of you. Talking to people that I love talking to. We have a great guest list lined up for you over the next couple of months. So please join in. And of course, tonight was the season 2 premiere. So I figured I'd have to go with friends. I had to go with people that I really cared about who were there for me from the beginning. When the Scene Snobs was just a little bitty thing starting out, these guys stepped in. These guys gave interviews. These guys hung out. They did so much. Right? It was the Key 13 film partners. I'm a big fan of theirs. I call them friends, and that is an important thing to me. Tonight, I have Mr. Matt Anderson from Key 13 Films here, and we are going to talk about their new projects, promote their stuff, and have some fun with it. So please join in. Join in the comments. I'm so glad to be back. I'm so glad all of you are with me. And let's just have some fun. So let's jump into it. Let's bring Matt in. Matt!
Hey, Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, sir. Thank you for joining me on the first show back.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I got to remember to look at the camera because I always look at myself. So it looks like I'm talking. I'm going to talk to you. So I need to talk to you directly. So, yes, I am so glad to be back. So happy to be on the season 2 premiere of The Showcase. This is fantastic. So,
I remember when I was starting out, you guys came on and you were such an early guest. Like now we kind of have our stuff together. Remember, I think we did it on Facebook like we did the messenger thing where we were talking to each other, weren't we?
I think, yeah, it was live. It was like Facebook Live, and it was just like glitchy and all sorts of stuff there. So you definitely have upped your game with whatever. Oh, StreamYard, yeah. I keep calling it the duck channel because there's a little duck in the little screen right above. Right in the corner there, which you can't see because I'm just pointing off screen and looking like, flying over back.
Yeah, it's only a little duck listening to something. It's awesome. Duck is a fan of the podcast. But yeah, I'm so excited. I took some time off from the show. I wanted to kind of re-gear it and do some different things with it. And we're coming back for season 2. And I thought who's my first guest? And none other than Key 13. They had, I put the invite out, of course, and I'm so glad you came on, man. I really am, and I'm so excited to talk about your new stuff.
Oh, well, so are we. And my producing partner, Craig, had some stuff that he's working on, the Elementals comic book project. We have just finally got hold of all the audio files, no thanks to this jerk, who lost them somewhere on his computer. But fortunately, Rick Germain, who is the, I don't know what the title for the sound engineer and owner of the Noise Pit up in Ryderstown, he found the footage or the audios that he recorded, and we were able to get them and download them and get started working on matching them up with the comic book panels. So he's busy working on that right now. So he sends his apologies, but he will definitely be here for the next time.
Oh, absolutely. We'll definitely have you guys back. And I'm just excited. I'm glad. And the Elementals, this is something you started last year, like early last year.
Yeah. And with COVID and some of the other things that we were doing, it was just very difficult. Originally, it was supposed to be an online only thing where everybody would just record their audio files, email them in. Mm-hmm. We quickly learned that is not the best way to do voice acting. Because the hardest part is that you get the audio file, so then you have to listen to them all. Then you got to take your notes. Then you got to send the notes back. Then they got to redo it, and then they got to send it back to you, and then you got to listen to it again, and then you got more notes, and then you got to send it back to them, and then it just was taking for essentially what we found out is to record 3 issues of Elementals. It took a couple of hours to do, but you get about 35 minutes of actual audio. Mm-hmm. So trying to do that, spend weeks trying to get 35 minutes of audio for 3 issues was just proving to be almost impossible. And, we couldn't do it on like video chat because the problem is video chats, the audio goes from really, really awesome to and so it's just like you can't rely on it. I'm watching You Only Live Twice, and they're driving around in a car with a video camera in the back seat, crystal clear, perfect video. And actually Austin Powers did the same joke where he's driving around in the Jaguar and it's got this perfect, super perfect, crystal clear video. And then in the modern day, he's doing it. It's all choppy and poor quality, and you can barely hear anything. So that's, what it's like. So we quickly learned that just wasn't going to be feasible. So fortunately, Rick over at the Noise Pit, he had his recording studio. We were able to maintain our social distancing, or 6 feet away from each other, but still be able to give direct feedback. And because we were able to give that direct feedback, it really made the process a lot easier. Now, some of the audio is still recorded by actors from out of state or who are not able to make it. But fortunately, these are all really great actors. William Powell, Mariella Butler, Amanda Coyer. So it wasn't really required us to have to do as much. And when we were working with the main cast in the studio, we were able to give a lot more direct feedback. And you can actually see how that went on the little promo video that we have on our Key 13 Pro Partners Facebook page, as well as on our official website and official YouTube channel.
And we're going to have all those links down in the description so you guys can check it out, because stuff like this, I always like when you guys put it up, so that way we get to see kind of like behind the scenes of everything. It's just a lot of fun. And I mean, anybody who's been on set, it's an addicting thing to watch, but anybody who hasn't, it's kind of getting to see the magic behind what filmmakers do.
Yeah, I really wish we had were able to get the magic when we were making Battle Queen 2020 for Terribly Awful. If you Scene Snob fans have not seen Mr. Mick, or actually, yeah, Mr. Mick over there, if you've not actually seen him on the show, he probably my favorite part is the Sonny Bono joke. And he said, "Really? That's the worst thing that's been said on the show?" Because our reaction was quite whoa. But yeah, and of course we had Lori Havermill as well
Mhm.
on there on our Halloween special, which got yanked.
Yeah,
on
I know that's
Facebook. And so, and then not too long after that, they yanked her page down. So, but that was all, we discussed that on the previous show. So before you went on vacation. So I'm not going to rehash.
No, but I do want to say it was so much fun to do Terribly Awful. And if guys, you got to watch the show. So make sure you go out there. Again, that's going to be linked down below too, because the shows are so much fun. I had a great time filming with you guys because it was just funny throughout, like just listening and watching this insane movie. But it was
really bad and tall movie that there was no, Battle Queen my ass, I believe was my response. And then you
technical difficulties, but we'll be.
Said, well, here you. There we are. Hey.
There we go. All right.
Yeah, screw you, duck person. We'll duck up here. So you had the tagline for the episode. Never have I seen a movie where I don't care if there's a resolution, and that's pretty much how Battle Queen 2020 finished up. And of course, we could only post the censored version of it, so we had to cover up Julie Strain's impressive talents.
Not just Julie Strain. That whole movie was just like the fact that you had to censor that whole movie, and from the gate, you're like, this is just
Except for that one, remember, who's like has to reveal, and then they just cut it off right here, and we were just like, you're just like, really, there's like 10 other actresses behind her that could have done this. They actually hired somebody who was timid. So yeah, if you haven't seen the episode, you haven't seen the whole season 3, definitely check it out. Season 4 is going to be a slightly truncated because of our intense shooting schedule I wouldn't say intense shooting schedule. We're not like filming all in like one block, but our shooting schedule, as well as some of the other projects, a couple which I can't discuss right now, but others I can. So the season is going to be a little bit truncated for season 4. It's probably going to be 2 4-episode chunks. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do 4 episodes, take a break, and then come back and do 4 episodes, sort of like Doctor Who's done in the past. We're trying to, the guest list that's the hardest part, because everybody on the show was just freaking hilarious. And it was so much fun. And, trying to, with the shortened season, because normally our seasons are 10 episodes plus a special. Mm-hmm. And, we're going to shoot for 10, but, we're planning only on 8. So, 2 sets of 4. So it sucks, but, with the filming on our other 2 films, Serious Profession and Phobias, which we'll get to here in a minute. But I do want to at least let everybody know, and this may appeal to you there, Mick, as well as some of the other Scene Snob fans, is our new show Rewind starts this Wednesday. And it is we're only doing 8 episodes of this one. It's kind of a test balloon to see if people are interested, see if people like it. It's not the same as Terribly Awful. What Rewind does is we look at either old shows that that aired back in like the 80s and the 90s and even the 70s, or shows that you may shows that you may not have ever heard of, like stuff from Japan or China, as well as some, hitherto what I consider are classics. So that new series starts this Wednesday, and it'll run for 8 episodes. And if it does well, then it will be alternating. So we'll start off with Terribly Awful, or we start the year off with Rewind, then we'll do Terribly Awful, then we'll do Rewind, then we'll do Terribly Awful. Okay. And then we are working on another project called Key Scenes, which is where we will have guests. So just to let you know, once we get the pilot done, we'll be reaching out to guests with knowledge of films, movies, and that sort of stuff. And then what Key Scenes is it's going to look at a key scene, and it's not necessarily going to be the climax, or it's not going to necessarily be the opening, although it can cover those. But it's going to look at why a scene exists in a movie and what's its point. Mm-hmm. Is its point to really to further the plot along? Is it there just to be exploitive? Is it there just to make sure that things happen? Like in Goldfinger, the scene when Bond's hearing about the attack on Fort Knox with all the gangsters. The whole scene is completely superfluous because it's only there just so that James Bond can get the information he needs. It doesn't make any sense, it's just, but of course, if that's, I don't want to go too much into it, but
it's awesome.
But that's what Key Scenes is we're going to look at movies, and not necessarily the big budget movies. We're going to look at some of the lesser known, unknown, or not necessarily unknown, but lesser known films, movies that may have had a decent budget, good writing, but you may not necessarily have cracked the mainstream like some of the others. And then we'll hit some of the mainstream ones as well. So that's what we're working on. Hopefully we will be able to, we were working on the pilot last year, and every single format we tried just didn't quite work out. That's the problem sometimes when you're developing shows like this, is that not every concept survives the initial creation. You can create a concept, and then by the time you're done with it, you're going, "Ugh, this sucks. We can't film this. We can't air this." And we finally figured out the best way to do it now. So now it's just a matter of just recording the pilot episode, and again, making sure that we got a good flow in like we do with Terribly Awful, and then we can start inviting in like you, like Lori, like other guests onto the show to sit down and actually talk about why the scene is so important and what function it has there. So keep an eye out for that. You're the first one that we've told about it, so you got an exclusive there. And Rewind, we did a teaser trailer for it. It's also on the Key 13 page, and then we will be setting up the official page when we launch the first episode on key13film.com. So
I love it.
You want to check out Rewind. We really could use the support. And the more people who watch it, and if you feel the urge, send us a few bucks, because every episode does cost money, even if it's just using what we have in this Key 13 studio, which is where I'm at right now. That's where we recorded Terribly Awful. So, you're familiar with it. We need people to come and support us. And if they want to send us money, because, the electric bill, I got to pay money on the electric bill. Just to record an episode used to cost us even more because we used 500-watt light bulbs that actually emitted 500 watts. Now we use LED lights that gives out 500 watts of light, but only at 60 watts. So, same bill. So yeah, so those are our two. So that's the big thing. Rewind. We want everyone watch Rewind this Wednesday on the Terribly Awful page, and then and also on the Key 13 Film Partners official webpage, and then Key Scenes will be announcing and doing the test episode hopefully in the summer.
Sweet. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to all of it. I can't wait to check out Rewind. It's a good day for it. Wednesday's a good day for TV shows, man. I'm telling you. Jason Taylor says, "What's up?" He's from Three Geeks Podcast. Jason, thank you for joining in. You have a great podcast, sir.
Hey, Jason. I'll have to listen. Screw you, duck person.
Oh, Facebook user, we love you. Facebook user is our Florida man around here. Well, I want to talk about a couple of things.
Sure.
We're going to get into the new projects.
Okay.
But before we do that, I want to talk to you a little bit about the casting process, because I've noticed that you've been doing a lot of casting lately.
Oh boy, casting! I
know that's a thing that a light isn't always shined on the casting process when it comes to filmmaking, and I would love to just kind of put a little light out there. And what is your process as you go through? How does it go about?
Okay, well, the casting process for Key 13 Film Partners. Well, let me kind of give you a little bit of history of experiences in the past. All right. So in this area that we have, there are some films will do a casting process. Some will basically gather together a bunch of people that they know and work together. And if you got a good crew that you know how they work together and all that, that's good. But sometimes you'll bring in your friends, and your friends not always the greatest. But it also depends on the kind of project that you're making. And then the other biggest issue coming up to the casting is too many people in this area and across the country probably is they don't put enough information in their casting. They say, okay, I need 3 women, 2 men to appear in a music video, and it pays $100 a day, and that's it. Okay, who is making it? Where are they making it? Why are they making it? How much? And it's okay, so they got the how much. Who, what, when, where, and why, and how. And then cost, costume, and concept. How much are they paying? What do you got to wear? One of my friends got asked to audition for a music video for some redneck hillbilly music guy, and she was supposed to be walking around in short shorts with a Confederate flag on her butt.
Mm-hmm.
And she wouldn't have known that until she actually watched the videos for the person that it is. So for us at Key 13, when we've seen the nepotism casting, we've seen the poorly written, not enough information casting. So we did our research, and we wanted to make sure that the casting process that we did was designed to ensure that you got the who, what, when, where, why, cost, costume, and concept. Because if you don't have that information, you need to ask. And if you don't ask that information, then unfortunately you may walk yourself into a situation where you can't get out of it. Mm-hmm. And that is, at worst, you're in a really crappy music video. Or at best, you're at a really crappy music video. At worst, I don't even want to discuss about what the worst could be. So now that I've gotten off my soapbox, let me get you into answer your question here. So the casting process for us, first we write out everything. We tell you all that information, and we will tell you if it's union, non-union. Right now, we're all non-union. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know for me, it's a big change from back in the day. I mean, all right. So big surprise to all of you.
Yeah.
I used to be somewhat young and good
That's
looking.
pretty much a gimme.
I used to be somewhat young and good looking. And
used to be.
Yeah. Well, I started out, I wanted to get into filmmaking, and I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't have anything. So I just was like, I'll be an actor and try and get my way in that way to get behind the camera. And that is not how it happened. But I did acting for a little while. And the process before, social media, cell phones, everything else was a much different process of auditioning and getting cast. The hustle, I'm not going to say the hustle isn't thick for actors now. Like it isn't a big hustle, but I feel like it was probably a little harder just from talking to some actors back in the day. Like, it's a lot easier to connect now than it was then. You had to find the face of the casting director, get in their good graces.
Right.
You know,
Right. Yeah, and with the modern day, with the online, especially having to react with COVID. Now, if this was a perfect world where COVID was not a problem and was gone completely, then we would do the traditional casting process where you have a casting call, a date, a time, a location. Everybody would show up, but as we've been doing this, I think the way that we've been doing it is probably the way we're going to keep doing it. So because it does actually make it a little bit easier, but it makes it a little bit more difficult, and I'll basically get ready to explain. So we send out the casting call. We post it on our DMV, PA, West Virginia actors group that we have on Facebook, as well as to all the different Facebook groups that are for casting notices and for actors and things like that. We send it out. We have all the information that you could possibly need, how much you're going to get paid. If you're going to get paid, some of our projects are volunteer, some of our projects are paid, where we're going to film, the days we're going to film, and then of course summary of the movie, character breakdowns, what we're looking for. And generally there are only maybe one character in every one of our stories is specific and has specific requirements. Like in Phobias, we are looking for an actress 18 to 35, and I'm sorry for those of you who feel that actors is it should just be actors, but just trying to illustrate the point. We need an actress who is 5'7" and between 18 and 35. That's very specific. Where on the rest, it's just usually we put an age range, and some of the castings aren't even are gender neutral. We'll take men and women because there's lots of roles out there, and there's a lot of great actors out there, and you never know that somebody might give and take. For Serious Profession, we've had a couple women audition for a role that was originally written as a male, and they killed it. I mean, they added a dimension to it that we just didn't even think could have happened, because it originally wasn't written for a woman, but because we made it open, wow. I mean, it's amazing. There's some fantastic talent out there. So once we do the casting call, we've been having people send in their resumes and headshots, and we look at the resume to see what their acting credits is. And a small or short resume does not necessarily preclude you from getting a job or getting a chance to audition. Mm-hmm. A long resume does not necessarily guarantee you an audition. It's how you look. It's how, we look at those demo reels. We watch how you act. If your acting is not quite up to the level we're looking for, and I know you're sitting there going, well, you guys are a small independent thing. You can't afford to be choosy. There is some truth to that, but we can also choose to be a little bit discerning. And I tell you, the Serious Profession casting call had, there you go.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Good point. Serious Profession, the amount we got, it's a little humble brag, I guess, over 200 people who wanted to audition, and about 60% of them made it. Mm-hmm. So, we looked at every single resume, every single headshot, every single demo reel that was sent. And so not everybody has demo reels. And again, none of these things will stop you from getting a chance to audition. But, there are certain criteria that we're looking for. But then once we get to that point and, okay, We like you. There's something there that we think that we can use. We then send out an audition, send out the sides for people to do a video audition. And the reason why we're doing the video auditions is because of COVID. But even though after COVID is over, we may still continue to do the video auditions because it's a really quick way to kind of start going through that list. When you have 200 people auditioning for 8 roles, you can't spend 8 hours, an hour looking at each one. You got to get through them because especially, even if you have a long amount of time, there's still a lot and they're coming in all the time. So once you look through that, once we watch the video auditions and we say, the casting director, which is me at this point, but it could be somebody else, but whoever's been designated as the casting director will look at it and go, yes, 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 no, 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 yes, no, like Madeline Kahn in The History of the World Part 1.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 no, 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 no. And then once we get that, we send out the sides. And then we probably, I would say, lose about 50% after that. 50% just don't send in a side at all, or send in a audition video at all. They don't send anything in. They get the sides, they look at it, they either decide the role's not for them, or they've got other commitments, or they're intimidated. Whatever the reason, they just don't send in an audition video. And that's a shame, and that's sad that happens. But I will also say that it makes my job a little bit easier because one less gives, and then that gives But I will say, if you're given sides, send in an audition video. Do your best. Don't rush it. If you've got time, don't rush it. Send it in, because if you don't, you are guaranteeing that somebody else is going to get that role. And if you really want that role, and you don't want to sit there and go, dang, I should have done that. Well, better to have a shot at it than not take a shot.
I agree 100%. Don't skimp on an opportunity,
Right. And so after we do the video auditions, which we just finished for Serious Profession, we are actually now, so then myself and the producers, and for Serious Profession, including myself, we have 5 producers on this one. I, as the casting director, and kind of the first step, I pick out, I put all the videos that made it from the video auditions. I put all those onto a drive, and then send out the link to the producers, and then they all review it and they give me their picks, their top 2 or top 3. And depending on how many I have, like for Serious Profession, we did top 3. For Phobias, we're only doing top 2 once that closes at the end of the month. So once we do that, we go through them all, watch every single audition video, every single one, including those that got rejected, that we didn't feel were quite, or the casting director didn't quite feel they were 100%, but we still look at those because there might be a gem. What I see may not be what somebody else sees. Yeah. And that is incredibly true, because even amongst the ones that we all picked, every single one of us picked somebody that nobody else picked. And so that makes it even more difficult, because then you've got to try to, if you really believe in that person, you got to fight for it. And the competition is fierce. And you should really understand that we don't make these decisions lightly. We don't just like, oh, okay, I know that person, we'll check, which is alluding to my earlier point. Just because we know somebody doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get the job. Oh, yeah. Now, if it's somebody that we know of, that their acting is top notch, then yeah, okay, there's that bias that's in there, as you were talking about, where you got to get to know the casting director. Some of the, there's some that are like that, that we'll look at them and we know their work and we're going like, okay, let's see what they do. And they nail it. And we're like, okay, they're in the top, they're on the list. And then this Sunday, we're actually having our producers meeting, and we are actually going to go through and we will have our callback list.
Nice.
And it will be 2 or 3 people. Some of them, some are clear front runners. I mean, everybody says yes, this person's it. And could we cast right from then and there? Sure. But we're not going to, because somebody maybe everybody likes and they did a really great read, but then when they actually interact with the other actor, it doesn't quite work. There's chemistry. You got to have chemistry, and it's not necessarily sexual chemistry. It's relational chemistry. Can they react to each other? Do they act or do they react?
Yeah.
And in acting, you've got to react. You don't just play the role and just play it. Okay. I mean, not necessarily that I subscribe to the Stanislavski method, but if you got to make me and the rest of the producers believe you're the character. And when we have the callback auditions, the second auditions, we got to believe. We got to forget that we're interviewing Mick Manhattan for the role of Jules in Pulp Fiction. We got to believe that you're Jules in Pulp Fiction. And if we don't believe it, doesn't matter if all 5 of us are sitting there going, I'll get to that in a minute, Robert. I'll get to you in a minute. We can look at everybody, but if the chemistry is not there, if it doesn't work, doesn't matter if everybody is all like, yeah, this person definitely should get a callback. They get the callback, they come in, it just doesn't work. Okay. That's why you have that second audition. Sometimes some roles we do cast right away. And but most of them we'll go through and we'll agonize, and it's tough. It's tough when you have to tell a friend, sorry, you didn't get the role because you weren't quite good enough, or you were really great, but somebody was better. And that's something that you always got to remember, is that there's always somebody better than you in whatever you do. They're always more successful. They're always more, they do more, they get more. It's because
and any given role too. I mean, I always looked at it back in the day as, this is something like, all right, I wasn't the right fit. That person was like, maybe I did a good job, and I've gotten good feedback in the past. And I know other actors who have too, but yeah,
you just
right fit for something,
It's all about chemistry. It's all about making us believe you're the character. If you can't make us believe, there's no way you're going to be able to make somebody on the screen believe it. I mean, Battle Queen 2020 is a prime example. Did we believe that Julie Strain was going to be the Battle Queen? Sure, because we knew that in other movies she was. Yep. But in this one, she wasn't. And we're like shaking our heads wondering, how did that get lost? And
no, I don't think they hired her for the Battle Queen.
No, they didn't. They never should have called it Battle Queen. They should have called it something else. But regardless, that's just it. You can hire somebody based upon all the credentials in the world, but when you put them on the screen, Eric Stoltz in Back to the Future, for example. Yeah. Eric Stoltz is a fantastic actor, but he wasn't the right fit. Michael J. Fox was. So after the callback editions, and those we are planning on doing face-to-face, because you got to have that face-to-face interaction, because we did video auditions for Paralyzed, which is our short film that we're working on, that films at the end of the month. Pardon me. We did the auditions on video through video chat. And while they were good, we definitely found the right actor for the roles that we were casting. It just, you lose something when you don't have that in-person contact. That chemistry that you need is there, but it's not quite as strong as when you actually have to sit there, look at somebody in the face and talk to them and be the character and react the way that the character is. There's just something a little bit more personal and a little bit more emotional with that. So so we're planning on doing it, but COVID restrictions and safety is our primary concern. So we will, if we have to do it online only, we'll do it online only. We won't like it, but safety is more important than, doing something that the way that we want to do it. And that's just kind of a general rule of thumb, safety first. And then after that, once we go through that, we will sit down. If we do it in person, we'll do the scenes with the actor, who's Rick Germain, who is the lead role of Mr. Kite in Serious Profession. Mm-hmm. So they will be acting against Rick, who is not only the lead actor, but he's also one of the producers. So he's going to interact with that person. So that's the important part, because his character is in every single scene, every single one. So and he's the lead interactor. So it really was fortunate that in this case, the producer was also the lead actor. We didn't have to cast Mr. Kite and then have to cast him, pair him against all the other actors that are in the movie. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen very often. At least at Key 13, it does not. For Phobias, our next movie after Serious Profession.
Actually, real quick, before we move on to Phobias, I want to answer Robert's question, and I want to talk a little bit more about Serious Profession and then we're going to talk about Phobias before we wrap things up. Robert, so you were asking about, we haven't covered it yet, but like, where do newbies look for casting calls? I know right now in this day and age with social media, there's a lot of casting pages you can go to, a lot of actors pages, especially on Facebook and Twitter and such. You can go, and there's always casting calls that are out there. Now, I know with Key 13, I see them on all of their pages, and especially you have the DMV page, which is a big help. But if you want to give them a little more information about like where you can go for you guys.
Sure. Well, for if you want to see what Key 13 Film Partners has in the works, you can go to the www.key13film.com, shameless plug, and go to the casting page, and you will see it on the main menu up at the top of the screen. And you click on that, and any casting calls that we have currently open, you can go there. You can also go to our Key 13 Film Partners Facebook page, and you will find casting calls there. It's usually pinned at the top when they're open. Then we have a group. We have 3 groups. The DMV PA West Virginia Actors Group for Key 13. That's, if you are a member of that group, you have to join. You get early notice of casting calls, usually about 2 weeks out before we post the wide one, where that is an opportunity for the members to get a shot. And we do that because a lot of the members in that group are actors that we know, that we've seen in other projects, even some that we've worked with. So we like to kind of give that and build that core group of people that we reach out to, because sometimes, we may find what we need in that group. So it would behoove people to join that group, but you don't have to, because then after we post it there in our Key 13 network page and our notification page for Key 13, then we do a wide release. And there are tons of Facebook pages out there that tons of Facebook groups that have casting calls. And then if you're not already, if you're an actor, join like All Casting or Kids Casting if you've got child, if you're you're a parent of a child actor. There's many different acting websites. There's dragonconnects.co.uk. I don't remember. It's the name is ridiculous. Dragon Connects UK, whatever. Change the damn name. Get it shorter. But anyways, there are a lot of casting web pages out there that you can, and then you all, like not Key 13, you'll get everybody's. So if you're a noob and you really want to to do it. But if you're brand new, I mean, you just to say, you wake up in the morning and you say, you know what, I'm ready to be an actor. I've watched, I've watched The Player by Robert Altman 10 times, and I'm ready to do it. Well, then my suggestion is find some local productions that are just looking for volunteers, little low budget films. You will learn so much on a low budget set that you won't learn in school, that you won't learn in acting school, because you will see great people and not great people. You will learn what to do and what not to do. It is a film school in itself, working on a small independent film. Some are amazing. I don't know if you've seen it, Ithaca by Jay Saunders. Fantastic looking movie. I mean, fantastic. No budget, but that's a good example. That's an example of when things go right. There are others, and I'm not going to mention names because I don't call nobody out. You're going to learn what not to do.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always a fun experience. I will say this too: don't count out theater, don't count out local playhouses, things like that.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, we've gotten actors from theater actors, and there is a difference in the acting styles. I will kind of just preface that. Theater acting, you got to project from the back to the back, where movie acting, you got to project like normal. So there are some differences, but acting is acting, whether you use the method, the Stanislavski method, you use, I think there's other methods, and my mind's blank right now because I'm all focused on phobias and serious profession. But no matter what technique you use.
I want to touch down on the movies because I'm really interested to learn more about them. Real quick, Robert. Put your own spin on it, of course. I mean, you want to make it your own, any role that you take on. Anything new under the sun now? I mean, sometimes if you want to shine, you got to put something new to it. I mean, it really depends, but listen to your director is the biggest part. See what they're looking for, and then they'll give you the freedom to do otherwise. And I will also say you must play well with others. Like anything in life, good collaboration is always the key.
Yeah, and you got to be able to get along with your castmates, because the last thing you want to do is get the reputation of being a pain in the ass. And I've worked with pains in the asses, and you just don't want to deal with that. And a director does not want to deal with it. If you're an actor, you're going out for an acting job, read the casting call. It's going to tell you everything you need to know. Do what they ask. Do it the way that they ask. It's a test. The minute you read that put out that casting call, they're already testing you. They're testing to see if you can follow instructions. If you can't follow some instructions, have already shot yourself in the foot. And then if for some reason, you didn't follow instructions, but the casting agent still sees something there, and you shoot yourself in the foot again by like listing demands or telling, before you've even read the sides and you start going at them, you've just shot yourself in the other foot, and you can just dig that hole. And then the last thing you want is when your name comes up, the very first thing the casting director does, drops it right into the rejected box. And it happens. I hate to say it, but it happens. You leave a bad impression, don't play well with others, you're out. You don't even get a shot.
I will say this too: if you want to stand out especially in a casting, your best way to do that is your resume. Put something on there that when they read it, you'll know if they read it, because if they read that, they're going to bring it up. Like if you in your hobbies or if you're in your talents, especially your skills, put like breathing or swimming with the dolphins or something like that, just so something that stands out. So that way they question you about it. Be like, yeah, so let me see you breathe, and you'll know if they read your resume. And if they call it out, that they'll remember you for that. They'll remember you made them laugh.
The minute I see somebody has firearms training or martial arts experience, I'm just like, okay, I'm writing their name down. I don't care if they can act, if they can kick somebody's ass, and I've got a movie in development that's going to be involving ass kicking. They're on there. So that's basically how our acting process. And I know it's a very long discussion about that, but it's read the casting call, submit the information that we're asking for, get the sides, do your audition video or show up for the audition date, whichever way it works. Do your best. Don't rush it. And then once it's done, we will make our decision based upon your performance and how much we believe who you are and your and then if we'll either call you back or we'll hire you outright. And then that's it. So now you want to talk about the movies. Let's talk about the
movies. I want to talk. Let's start with Serious Profession movie.
Okay.
I've been seeing a lot come from you guys about this movie. I want you to tell me a little bit about what it's about. I know I don't want you to give away too much, but and then when do you guys start filming?
Okay. So Serious Profession follows the one day in the life of Kite and Win, who are, for lack of a better term, leg breakers for a local gangster named Mr. Victor. And we follow them on their day, and we meet all sorts of men and women who are involved in the serious profession that they have. And we meet corrupt cops, degenerate gamblers, people who've taken loans out, loan sharks, friends, family. It's not Goodfellas. There's a lot more to it. I'm really giving you just the elevator pitch. There is a lot more that's involved to it, and it's, I'm not going to compare it to any other kind of movies because that for me is the kiss of death. The minute that you see your movie is Tarantino-esque or Lynchian or anything along that, and I'm not saying Serious Profession's either one of those, so don't somebody misquote me. The minute that you compare your movie to other movies, that's the kiss of death. Because if you don't quite measure up, you've just killed your audience right then and there. But that's what it is. It's about two leg breakers, and they go about the day, and we meet all the interesting men and women that they encounter on just one day of work.
Awesome. I'm very excited for it. When are you guys going to plan to start filming?
We film after my co-writer and producer, Craig Rosenthal, gets married to Carly Fenner. And yeah, so after that, and you know Carly because she was the PA, and they were dating before she became the PA, so don't anybody ever, oh yeah, I see. No, that's not, no, you don't. So we filmed the last weekend in April is when we will start filming Serious Profession. Casting callbacks will be later this month, and announcements will be made at the beginning of next month.
Nice. Okay, I'm definitely looking forward to that, and I can't wait to see what the casting comes about. So remember, everybody, Serious Profession movie. You're going to be seeing it. So if you're following Key 13 and you're a part of any of their groups, we'll definitely see more news come up. But if Serious Profession movie actually, and this will be in the description too, has its own Facebook page.
Yes.
So we'll make sure everybody gets a chance to check that out too.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see behind the scenes photos, link to the funding campaign. Excuse me. A link to our funding campaign once it gets started, as well as opportunities to interact with us and the cast, and ask some questions. And I can already tell you one of the rewards that we'll be offering on the funding campaign is you will actually get to have the shotgun that Tina, one of the hitmen, she's actually a hit person. That is going to be one of the rewards where you can actually purchase the shotgun that Tina uses with her signature on the shotgun. That's just going to be one of the many things that we're going to offer once our funding campaign for Serious Profession goes up. Yes, that is awesome. I love that.
And let's make sure to see who buys it first, though. We got to keep it safe. But you have another movie coming out. We talked about this a little bit before the year ended. And I have a little bit of an insider track, but I'm excited for this one very much. I'm excited for everything you guys do, but you know me and my horror.
Yeah.
So Phobias is your next movie, and you have a new producer joining in who is no stranger to the Scene Snobs family, and that is Matt Burns is joining the fold, right?
Yes. Yes. Well, actually, Matt Burns is also helping us produce Series Profession as well. So he's working two of our films, and he's actually helping us with our one that comes after Phobias, which we're not going to discuss right now. So Phobias is going to be our second film, and it's going to start filming in after Series Profession wraps. So it'll start filming in September and October. And as far as what the movie is about, because I know that's one of your questions there, is the movie is 6 people have been kidnapped by a shadowy government organization called the Firm, and they are being subjected to experiments that makes them confront their phobias. And so that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you right now, other than the fact that we have two horror icons appearing in the film, and then we have another local horror icon who is well known in this area and who was just recently released in the sequel to a cult classic that we did a episode of on Terribly Awful. So we have 3 very well-known horror icons, as well as another person who has been in over 200 horror films, and as well as a few others. So the Phobias is going to have it has a very impressive cast and some well-known horror people in it, and special effects are going to be done by Amos Effects. Joan Jones, who is a special effects artist in the area, and masks are going to be done by Donnie Drum. It's going to be an balls to the wall horror film. It's essentially it's kind of a horror haunted house, but not really. We will be making the announcement of who our big stars are going to be on Valentine's Day.
Yes, nice.
February the 14th, which is a Friday. It will be announced across all our social media accounts: Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, as well as our official page, and every single group that we belong to. We will be making the official announcement on that cast on the 14th of February. So hopefully the 3 horror icons hasn't whet your appetite.
It definitely has, for sure.
And a well-known actor who's been in tons of films. If that doesn't kind of pique your interest, well, then I have no idea what will.
Well, listen, I think we can make the announcement now. It's me, everybody.
I wasn't kidding when you said, you can audition, because right now auditions are being held for Phobias. We are looking for the 6, or sorry, not the 6. We are looking for the lead of Bora, the lead of the supporting cast of Emmy, Fatima. We already have Abner and Dieter cast, and then we also have the lab technicians, Gary, who's the second in command of the group that's running these tests. We have the role of Barry, who is the assistant, and we've already cast. We already have our Mary, so Gary, Barry, and Mary. And yes, that was intentional. But yes, again, I'll give you guys a little hint. One of the things we are going to be offering is a chance for 3 people to get a chance to actually appear in the movie.
Oh, nice.
And what's going to be neat is they will be voiced. So they will be in the movie, but they will be dubbed by popular, well-known actors. So
Awesome. I love that. You know, I will tell you this. I would love to, but my headshot is from 2003. My demo reel no longer exists because it was on DVD. But I'm just.
Well, as I said, if your resume is good and you at least give us a headshot. And let me just also say another shameless plug here that Key 13 Studio does offer affordable packages for actors for headshots, as well as provides comp cards and model portfolio books at prices to fit most every budget. And we've just reopened now that even though COVID, and we do follow COVID precautions there, but we have now just reopened. So,
Nice.
We are accepting clients, limited amount, but we are open for business. So if you need updated headshots, we can do that for you. If you need graphic design for your movie poster or for your show or for whatever, we can do that. If you need a comp card, we can do that. If you want to start your modeling career, we can offer portfolios. And whether it's you or your company, we can accept most forms of payment.
You know what? I love that. And, that's a good way. Like, everything's going to be in the descriptions, guys. So, and I'm going to put it up on the social media so you can contact them with anything. That is a valuable asset to have a company that offers all of that. I'll tell you that right now. Because it was hard back in the day to get them all together. Everybody did something different. So at least there's a company who can handle it all now. They understand. So go check out Key 13 Films. I'm very excited, man. I'm very excited for everything you guys have going on. I want to see more Terribly Awful. I want to see what you're doing with Rewind. I'm super excited for that. And the key scenes. I mean, you guys have so much going on, and I always appreciate it. I hope once you get everything together, we can, please feel free to come back. I cordially invite you guys, the filmmakers, the cast, whoever wants to join in of both movies. We can do two separate shows, maybe some specials, and we can all come on and talk about them if you guys are up for it.
Actually, that is definitely in the game plan. We will do is we'll meet, form up in the studio at the Key 13 studio, and we'll have the whole cast there. We'll do it like Entertainment Weekly, just have the line of people sitting in the chairs and talking. So definitely up for that, so we will get in touch once we get the cast, because we're still casting.
That's a good point. And Robert also says, okay, take my money. Phobias, put me in a room with a wasp. Question I'm seeing, I don't want to beat you up. I want a beating. Just give me a car and sign over a title and you can go. And there goes south from there. Robert, please. The information's there. So if you want to put in and try your hand and getting in the movies, that would be awesome. But thank you so much, Matt, for jumping on with me tonight. I appreciate everything you do. And I appreciate you guys so much and all the love and support you've shown the Scene Snobs. It has been truly amazing. And anytime, that we'll always set something up, always happy to promote for you guys.
Oh, absolutely. You know me. I love coming on the show, and I love yapping. It never stops me. And I will also be very glad once COVID finally lightens up and we can start going back to psycho cinema, because I am missing me some psycho cinema, but I have a son that's immunocompromised, so I have to be very careful when I go out. And movies, theaters are just not. And it's a shame because Psycho Cinema is still going strong. Love Faye, and I really wish that this crap would be over so we can start getting back to that, as well as all of us can get back to doing the stuff we love, which is making movies and interviewing guests instead of having to do this online stuff. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but I miss the social interaction. That chemistry, gotta have it.
100%, and I agree with you, and I can't wait myself. But thank you again so much for jumping on. It was such a great show, and I cannot wait for these movies. There's going to be so much fun, and I can't wait for your announcements. It's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, 1st of February we'll announce the Serious Profession cast, and then the 14th of February we will announce the Phobias cast. So mark those dates on your calendars. February, it's a short month, but it's a great month.
It's going to be an awesome month. Yes. So, guys, everybody go support Key 13 Films. We love them here. They're awesome. And please support us too. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Follow us. We have content every day, and we have more coming. We have actually lots of shows joining the channel coming up in 2021, and we're very excited about that. Other fun podcasts, things like that. I promise you're not going to see this face all the time. It's going to be a lot of variety. But yes, but you got to hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications button, hit our like. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, very much would appreciate you go out there and rate and review us. That goes a long way with sponsorship for us. But until next time, I am Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob. Of course, my special guest for tonight on the Season 2 premiere, Mr. Matt Anderson from Key 13 Films. Thank you guys, and I will talk to you all soon.
Looking forward to it.